Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to another edition of An Hour with Bob. And right off the bat, I had a terrible thing told to me this morning. A friend of mine who was on this show, 6 weeks ago maybe? Billy V has passed on. And Billy and I go back almost as long as I've been on this show. He started his show about the same time as I did, which is just about 30 years ago. And I found out on the way over here that he has passed. And my condolences go to his family. Anyway, who do we have here today? We have a beautiful young lady from Boston, or the Boston area,
yes,
that I happened to meet at Federal Hill during the great Columbus weekend.
Yep.
Which, by the way, first of all, I gotta say your name, Raffaella
DiStefano.
DiStefano.
Yes.
That's an interesting name.
Yes, very Italian.
Very Italian. Yes. Yeah, and you look the part too.
Thank you.
And we met on Federal Hill.
Yep, at the Columbus Day Festival.
Yep.
Yep.
How did we meet anyway?
It was in front of the jazz band stage.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
Wonderful music, by the way.
Yeah. And had you been to the Providence Federal Hill before?
I have been to the Federal Hill, but never to the Columbus Day Festival.
Well, that's really what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
You've never been to the Columbus Day. It's a wonder we have Columbus Day anymore, right?
Yes, I know. So I immediately had to come down and check it out and celebrate.
Really?
Yes.
I asked a number of people on camera as I would walk by them, and I'd say, "What is this the?" And I'd stop and I'd wait for their reaction.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Columbus Day. You know, because they're calling it the Indigenous.
Indigenous Days. Yeah.
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 In other words, doing away with history of Columbus because of supposedly what he was part of, I guess, or they allege he was part of.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And centuries and centuries ago. Right?
Right.
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. And there's a statue of Columbus in Providence that almost every year they throw red paint on it.
Oh, yeah.
And the people of Federal Hill, the area where the Columbus celebration was that you were at, they have offered to take that statue into the Federal Hill area. Oh,
that's nice. Okay.
And it's been rejected by the city fathers.
Really?
You know, they won't let them move it. But it kind of makes sense that they would move it because
it would make sense.
Where it is, it keeps getting vandalized.
Right.
They've
That's
actually had to board it all up and cover it on it. You know, it's sad that it's come down to that. You know, in life, because other things, if you did it to some other people, you'd be called certain names. You know.
Right.
But apparently that doesn't apply to Christopher Columbus.
I guess not.
And he was Italian, right? Have
Right.
we established that he was Italian working for the Spanish, I guess, wasn't he?
Yes.
He was working for the King of Spain, wasn't he, at the time?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where are you from in Boston, or outside? You're outside of Boston.
North Shore of Boston, about 20 minutes north of the city.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what, in fact, I told you off camera, I haven't been to the North End in decades.
Oh, the North End's a great place. It's
Yeah.
so much fun. Yeah.
Is it still mostly Italian?
I mean, I would say the residents aren't all Italian, but we still keep our traditions alive. The ones that are still there definitely fight to, keep all Italian businesses and, keep the culture alive in that little enclave that we have. So we still have all the feasts and the festivals in the summer, and, our church is alive and well. So
What's the church there?
St. Leonard's.
St.
Leonard's Church.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they have how many festivals in the North End?
Oh, it's starting at the end of June. We have basically every weekend or every other weekend all throughout the summer until the very last weekend in August, which is the big one, St. Anthony's Feast.
Oh, but they end early, huh? They end in August, the festivals?
The very last weekend in August is the big one, the St. Anthony's. Yeah.
Oh, so that allowed you to go to these other festivals that you attend, right?
Yes, yep. I was able to go to San Gennaro in New York City in September, and then I came here in October.
Wow.
Yes.
and you've been to where? Philadelphia, you said?
Yes, I've traveled to quite a few little Italies. I've been to the one in Philadelphia, which was So fun and amazing, and
How was that like? What was that like? Is it a bigger area than Providence?
it is a bigger area, yes, and you definitely see the neighborhoods that are filmed in the Rocky films, you know, where he's running through
Not
the
the
streets.
stairs.
Yeah.
Now,
and
is that in the Italian neighborhood?
Yes.
It is.
Yes, and there's a lot of Italian businesses that are old and still there, so that was really nice to see, you know, from the early 1900s. So, you know, bakeries, restaurants, butcher shops. So that was really fun to see. Yeah, and try their food. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what'd you do? You drive down there? You fly down there? What do you do?
I did drive to Philadelphia. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was about 6 hours.
That's it?
Yeah, from Boston, six and a half
Oh,
hours.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah, it
you're
wasn't
right.
too
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you haven't been, we talked about, you hadn't been to Baltimore yet, right?
I haven't been to the Baltimore one. No.
Now, I've been to, a number of times I've been to Baltimore, and their Little Italy is pretty cool. They'll have Italian restaurants on some corners. They're on all four corners, Italian
Okay.
restaurants.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, they got.
It's nice to see.
Yes, yes. Although I haven't been there either in, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 years. But
Okay.
I always went down there to see the Baltimore Orioles play. But since they got as terrible as they are, I haven't been down there. But
Yeah.
previous to that, I would go down and catch a couple games down
Yeah,
there.
that's fun.
And go to Little Italy.
Yeah.
Any other ones you've been to?
I've been to the Toronto, Little Italy, and Montreal, New York City, of course, Boston, Philadelphia. So I'm knocking them off my bucket list of Little Italies.
Now you say Toronto.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite cities in the world. Now
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of countries in the world, and I rank Toronto as one of the nicest, most beautiful cities in the world.
Yeah. It was really nice. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Very clean, and yeah, I really had a nice time.
Did you stay in Toronto? or
I did. I have some family up there that I went to
Oh, you
visit.
do?
Yes, yes. It was actually two of my grandmother's brothers originally from Italy, then Belgium, then they went to Toronto.
And they ended up in Toronto.
They ended up in Toronto, and my grandmother came to Boston because of her husband, and my grandfather's family came to Boston. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So you're 100% Italian.
Yes, yes. My mother was born in Italy.
Right.
And my father was born and raised in our North End in Boston.
Wow.
Yes.
So wait a minute. Your mother, when you were born in Italy, you're called what?
Italian.
When you're born in the United States?
Italian American.
Italian American.
Yes.
So
yes.
your mother's Italian and your father's Italian American.
Yes, and they are like two different cultures. They're very different. I grew up with both. One side calling it sauce, one side calling it gravy.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Now, who calls it gravy?
The Italian Americans call it gravy.
Really?
Yes.
No, I'm Italian American. I call it sauce.
Then you know your stuff. You know your Italian stuff. Yeah.
Really? Is that the difference? I never knew that.
Yeah.
I do know some people, a lot of people Italians call it gravy.
Yeah. It's more, I think, of an Italian American thing. Because my mother came to this country, she was a little confused when she heard everyone here calling it gravy.
Right.
Because it's sauce. Well, and the word in Italian is salsa or sugo, which it's just sauce. It means sauce.
How about pizza?
Pizza is one of my favorite foods other than pasta. And
Who makes better pizza? Italian Americans or Italians?
Italians. You got to go to Naples and Italy. But I will say we do have some really good pizza in the North End in Boston.
Yeah.
Brico has amazing wood-fired pizza.
Thin or thick?
Thin, just like
I don't like thick pizza.
Yeah, it's like Naples. It's really, really good, really authentic.
And in Italy, now you've been to Italy?
Yes.
How many times?
Oh, more than I can count.
Really?
I have family there, so we go often. Every
Wow.
year if we can. Yeah.
I'm jealous.
You got to get there.
I have to get there before I pass on.
Yes.
Because that's one country I've always wanted to go to, and 2 occasions it got changed.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
Yeah.
But in fact, I talked to you off camera that you and your mother that I was thinking about doing a cruise around the Mediterranean and hit 4 or 5 spots in Italy.
Yeah. That sounds like amazing trip.
To get at least get a feel for it, and then maybe go back to which ones I like, which cities I like best.
Exactly. Yes.
So you suggest that's a good idea, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't, unless you know exactly where your family hails from.
Oh, I do know where my family's from.
Then try to get there too.
They're from the Mezza-Carrera region of Italy, which is in, what, isn't that in Tuscany, right?
Okay, so more north.
Yeah.
Okay.
North,
Yeah.
northwest,
Okay.
northwest Italy.
Yes.
And I've had family members go there, but I never made it over there.
Okay, yeah, you definitely got to get there. No matter where you go, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
No matter where you go, you're going to fall in love. So.
Now, did you see where they had something on the news weeks ago about they're actually giving away, you can get a house for $1 down in.
Yes.
What's that all about?
I just think to boost the economy, really. I mean, it is kind of a good plan though, because there are a lot of abandoned homes there.
Really?
With people leaving the country for work, they go to other countries, for jobs. So, and they kind of just leave their homes.
But it seems like more in the south, right?
Yeah, I would say the southern
Sicily.
Italy is more.
Sicily, there was one of the articles I saw or read was about a couple towns in Sicily that they were giving.
Yeah, a lot all
away.
over, really. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But what's the deal there? You have to fix up the house and you have to live there.
You have to live there, potentially. I think some places, I think you might have to start a business, but even still, it's cheap enough, so.
Well, yeah, for $1, yeah.
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 Had you thought about that?
Well, I already have a house there, so, I don't really need one, but, I definitely inform people, hey,
Seems
look
like a
into
great
it.
idea
Yeah.
for somebody who's got nothing. If you don't have
Yeah.
nothing going on, it
Yeah.
seems like a pretty damn good idea.
Exactly, yeah.
So. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now you said Montreal too. You've been to Montreal.
Yes, I've been to the Montreal. Mm-hmm.
What do you like better, Montreal or Toronto?
I would have to say Toronto.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, yeah.
But then again, Toronto's a more English city, and
Yeah, they're more English speaking than Montreal. But
Right.
I do have family in Toronto too, that's why. And I think I got to see more of the city when I went. So,
right.
yeah.
And there's a guy that owns a restaurant on the hill. He's Italian.
Okay.
Italian, born
Yeah.
in, but wait a minute now. He's not Italian American because I think he was born in Montreal.
Oh, okay.
So what does that make him? Italian Montreal?
Canadian? Italian Canadian, maybe.
Italian Canadian. Now I'm not sure if he was born in Montreal. I know he lived there for years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he was born in Italy and the family moved to Montreal or he was born in. I kind of think he was probably born in Montreal.
Okay.
But he owns a successful restaurant in Providence on the hill.
That's nice.
And it's weird to me that an Italian from Canada
Yeah.
that owns a restaurant on the hill.
Yeah, I know. That is fascinating. There's a lot of Italians in Canada. But interesting how he came down to Rhode Island specifically.
What is that all about? Have you noticed that there are more Italians here than almost any place in New England? Other than Boston.
Other than Boston, when New York is not considered New England, but yeah, there are a lot of Italians in Rhode Island. I don't know much about Rhode Island because I'm from Boston, but
Right.
I definitely love coming to your Federal Hill. So
Do you know, here's a little statistic for you that I think most people that know me know this because I've said it so many times, that the second highest concentration of Italians in any town in the United States is in Johnston, Rhode Island.
wow, I did not
The
know
second
that.
highest concentration.
That's
The highest is in a city in New Jersey.
Okay, wow, I didn't know that.
Not Boston.
Not Boston.
It's Johnston, Rhode Island, number 2.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because in fact, I had the mayor. He's been on the show a few times over the decades, and we talk about that every once in a while. We throw that out there.
Oh, that's
Yeah. But if you went on Google and Googled it, it's where is the highest concentration of Italians in the country? Johnston, Rhode Island would rank number 2.
Wow. Good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. So you can tell the people up in Boston
Yes.
that we outrank them.
I'm going
sure
to.
there's more Italians in Boston than there are in Johnston, but percentage-wise.
Percentage-wise, okay.
Of population, that's how they go by it.
I see.
Proportion to population.
Yeah.
It's the second highest concentration
Wow.
of any nationality. They easily, in Johnston, Italians outrank any nationality by far.
Yeah. Wow.
Whereas, like here, you're in East Providence now. There's I would have to say that the predominant nationality is Portuguese in this town,
Okay. Wow. Interesting.
if you had to pick a nationality.
Yeah.
And where I grew up in Pawtucket used to be French.
Okay.
But now it's a mixed mash. But it was the French, you go to church, instead of Latin,
Yeah.
they had French.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So how did you get doing the blog thing? Or is that what you call it, a blog? Or?
Well, I use my Instagram as kind of a blog, and I dedicate it completely to Italian culture and heritage.
Right.
You know, I just, with all my food, and I cook a lot, and I make sure I learn as much as I can from my mother and, you know, my grandmother, and recipes that were passed down, you know, from my great-grandmother. And
Holy cow.
Yeah, and my grandfather's sisters. So I love to cook really authentic, traditional, you know, Italian recipes. It just, you know, it makes you feel like people that have passed on are still with you when you
Right.
cook their recipes. And it's just, you know, a reminder of who you are and where you came from. So, and I would like, you know, my children someday to experience everything that I experienced growing up, you know, from an immigrant mother. So,
Right, right.
you know, I don't want that to die. So,
Well, that's very interesting. that
Yeah.
You have that attitude as a young woman, that you have that sensitivity towards your heritage.
yes, it's very important to know who you are and where you come from for any ethnicity, you know. And me specifically being Italian, I make sure, you know, especially where a lot of it has died and, you know, has kind of gotten lost over the generations. I definitely, my goal is to keep it alive as best as possible. Even visiting the Little Italies and supporting the feasts in different cities and different states, just my presence there, I feel, is a way of supporting, you know, keeping these festivals alive and these little enclaves. So, and I post my journeys on my Instagram and
Right.
and show everyone, you know, that, you know, Italian culture is still alive and well in many parts of the country, in the world, and, you know, give them a taste of the differences, you know, between Boston and New York and Philadelphia and Rhode Island. So it's really fun too. So
Yeah, I'll bet it is.
yeah.
Has you ever been to Chicago?
I have not been to Chicago. That is definitely on my list
Because I
too.
was going to ask you about the pizza difference, because Chicago has the pan pizza, thick
Yes.
pizza.
Yeah, definitely on my list.
And you like the thin pizza versus the thick pizza.
Well, I'll eat any kind of pizza, really, but my favorite is the thin, you know,
And-
wood-fired pizza.
And what do you like on your pizza? Because I made you a pizza, so.
You did. I have to try it. But my favorite at Brico is definitely the prosciutto pizza. It's just, you know, their tomato sauce, mozzarella, and topped with prosciutto. So
Uh-oh.
you can't go wrong with cheese and prosciutto.
No, I say uh-oh because I put pepperoni on it, I put black olives, I put,
Oh, I'll eat. I'm not picky. I'll eat anything.
really? I put the mushrooms, I put 7 kinds of cheeses.
Oh, fun.
Oh, I like to mix the cheeses, get,
Get creative.
shock your taste buds too.
Yes.
When you eat it, because mozzarella is sometimes not that tasty.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of flavor. Right. It's more for I think the texture. And
Right,
My mother makes a lot of homemade pizza, and she'll, you know, she does like a pesto pizza.
Yep.
She keeps it, you know, a little simpler, and usually fresh, thinly sliced tomatoes instead of, you know, the sauce. We usually do fresh tomatoes and fresh garlic.
Well, I think I gave you some fresh tomatoes.
Yes, I did see. Yes, you did from your garden.
Yeah, that's what I do. I even the little tomatoes, I take the time to slice the little heads off them, so you don't have that
Yes.
little
Yep,
thing
the
on tomato.
stem.
Yeah,
Yep.
from the stem. I slice the little tomatoes up, and I put them all over the pizza.
Yes, fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love fresh tomatoes on pizza.
Yeah, well, you got the last of my garden because it's the end of the.
Well, I appreciate
it's
that.
the end of the season for everything.
Yeah.
I just
yeah.
picked my last eggplant from my garden.
Wow.
Now, do you make eggplant?
My mother makes an amazing eggplant parmigiano.
Me too.
But I have my aunt, well, this is my great aunt, my grandmother's sister, my grandfather's sister, I'm sorry, taught me how to pickle eggplant.
Oh, that's different.
Yes, melanzane sotto olio. And it's completely submerged in oil, but you have to pickle it first. So I did that last year for the first time. She taught me how to pickle it,
Right.
and it's amazing.
Now, wait a minute. How do you pickle it?
So you have to peel it and slice them really thin.
Right.
And you have to, you know, remove the water out of
Now,
the
when you
eggplant.
say slice them, you slice them like.
Yeah, kind of like French fries, long, thin.
Oh, see, I'm thinking the other way. I'm thinking the
like
other way.
long, yeah. And then, you know, we put them in like a colander, and then with like a dish on top, and then like, you know, a gallon of water or something heavy,
Right.
and you leave it overnight, and it drains all the moisture and the water out of the eggplant. So then in 24 hours, when all the water's out, you submerge it in vinegar. And again, you're gonna leave that for another 24 hours, and then you're gonna drain that out. So it has the taste of the vinegar, but not the moisture. And then you're gonna put them in a mason jar, filled it with olive oil and fresh garlic and oregano and
It's already got the vinegar in
red
it.
pepper, whatever kind of flavors you like. My aunt also does one yellow pepper she slices, bell pepper. And you let it sit and marinate for about 3 weeks, and it's a perfect addition to your antipasto for Sunday dinner. So
Really?
it's amazing.
I
yes.
gotta try that.
Yeah.
That does sound interesting. You know what I
Yep.
saw for the first time? Have you ever seen white eggplant?
White eggplant. I don't think I have.
I saw a plant. I was at a garden shop and I saw white eggplant. I'd never seen that before.
Okay. Did you try it?
No, I mean, they were plants that you grow.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't try to grow it or anything?
No. I was kind of afraid, you know, a white eggplant.
I haven't seen that. Interesting.
Yeah, and you know, actually, you know who had them? I saw it at 2 places. One place was a garden shop on Atwood Avenue in Johnston, and the other one was at Home Depot.
Oh, Home Depot has a great variety
Yeah.
of vegetables for sure.
And a white eggplant. I tempted to buy it, but I didn't. But I grew huge eggplant, and they're like 3.5 feet tall. My plants are.
Wow.
And I'm trying to decide if I should cut them or leave them there for the winter. I don't know. I don't know how that goes. I know how to grow stuff, but I don't know what to
Yes.
do with it after.
Yeah.
Should I cut it down and start from scratch? Or?
Yeah, usually you have to replant things like that every year.
Yeah.
But I also was taught how to get the seeds, especially out of basil and tomatoes, but especially basil. I was taught how to get the seeds out of them so you have seeds for next year to keep growing them so you don't have to buy basil seeds every year.
Oh.
Yeah. So
But not eggplant. You don't know what to do?
I haven't grown eggplant. I've done tomatoes. And a staple for me is hot peppers, hot
Yes,
Italian peppers.
yes.
Yep. And when they grow and they turn red, my mother taught me how to sew them up, and I hang them up so they can dry. And then I have red pepper all winter. Nice
they
dried
hot?
red pepper flakes.
Hot?
Hot, yes.
Hot peppers.
Yo, yes.
Yeah.
To top on your pasta.
Wow.
Yes.
I grew green peppers this year.
Okay.
And next year I'm going to grow a lot of them. I like green peppers.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I don't need as many tomato plants. I'll just cut down on tomato plants and add more.
More peppers.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And it's easy to grow. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they're really easy to grow. Now, what do you make? I see on your blog, or you call it a blog, or Instagram
My
account.
Instagram, yeah.
On your Instagram account, which is what?
Well, it's my name, Raffaella Sarah.
And it's don't tell me now, Raffaella.
Perfect.
Right?
Yes.
Raffaella.
Yes. Perfect.
Use your whole
Sarah.
name. Sarah.
We're just
S-A-R-A.
Raffaella
No
Sarah.
H.
No
S-A-R-A.
H. Yep.
Right?
Yep. That's my
D-
Instagram. Well, my last name is DiStefano, but that's not on my Instagram.
Oh, it's not on your
No,
Instagram.
it's just Raffaella Sarah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And-
So I post a lot of my food on my Instagram.
I know.
As well as my travel journeys to Little Italy's. Yes.
That's what I found to be interesting.
Yeah.
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 You have a great food selection. I mean, you do a lot of baking, huh?
Yes, especially for holidays. I really like to showcase my family's recipes for holidays, Christmas, Easter. We do a lot of really old traditional, rustic recipes. For Easter, Easter is a big one. We do pane di Pasqua. I make that every year from scratch.
What is that now?
It's a braided, lightly sweet dough. You braid it and you usually decorate it with hard-boiled eggs.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Dyed or not
about.
dyed.
Yeah,
You can
yeah, I know
dye
what you're talking
them
about.
for more of decoration, and then you frost them. Just with a simple frosting, powdered sugar, and a little milk.
Now,
and
when you say hard-boiled eggs, are they in the shell or out of the shell?
in the shell, because you can dye them, and it's just more for decoration.
Right,
They're
right.
like in the braid.
Because that's what the
Yes.
Portuguese do that with their sweetbread.
Very similar, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and this was something that my great-grandmother, Raffaella, she also had the same name as me,
So
used
wait a
to
minute, your
make.
great-grandmother and your mother
And me.
and you all
Yes.
have the same first name?
Yes.
So what happens when you're all together and somebody yells out, Raffaella?
Well, before I was born, my mother was referred to as Raffalina, which means little Raffaella.
Oh, cute.
And then when I was born, she's still Raffalina, so I'm Raffaella. But some people call me Little Raff.
Oh, Raff.
Little Raff, yeah. but yeah, I do like to honor my heritage and my ancestors by showcasing the things that they made, and So I actually, the first time I made the sweet braided bread,
Right.
my grandfather was still alive, and it was his mother's recipe, and he tried it. And for me, he wasn't a man of many words, but he had a smirk on his face when he tried it, and he kept slicing little slivers of it.
And kept eating it.
And he kept eating it, and my mother
Well,
noticed.
that's a testament.
Yes, so that means,
He liked
I
it.
got my grandfather's approval that I made it right, and it tasted like his mother's. So
Wow.
that was a special
must have been
moment
big
for me.
for you, yeah,
Yes, very
yeah.
special moment. So that's one thing that I do every year for Easter, just to keep that tradition alive. And it's like, my great-grandmother's there, and my grandfather's still with us.
They're still alive?
No, but it's like
Oh,
they're still
they're
there
still
when
there,
you
yeah,
make
yeah.
things that they made and they ate. It
Wow.
keeps memories alive, as well
Absolutely.
as, reminding you of where you come from. It keeps memories alive of ancestors that have passed and are no longer
Yeah.
here. So, it has a special place in my heart to make these recipes.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and of course, we do the pizza Guiana. My mother does an incredible job of doing that. I help, and she makes
I'm
everything.
shaking my head like I know what you're talking about, but I don't.
Pizza Guiana,
Right.
it's like a really thick rustic dough she makes from scratch, and it's filled with prosciutto and ham and
Ooh.
cheese and eggs, and it's like a savory cake. It's a really traditional Easter recipe.
I love prosciutto.
So
I love it,
yeah, it's salty and it's and we usually serve it as an appetizer.
There's a place at the end of the street here, the Italian Corner Deli.
Yeah.
They must have 6 different brands of prosciutto there,
Wow.
And
All
I-
imported?
all imported.
Wow.
And I think they have one that's domestic, and I always get the one that is the least salty
Okay. Yes.
of them.
Yeah.
Because it can be salty.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't like salt. So.
Yeah, not too much salt. You have
Right.
to
And
put the right
they
amount.
make an in fact, I'll take you for a sandwich after we leave.
Perfect.
Here. How's that? Right down the street.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're great sandwiches there.
Oh,
And
great.
it's a real Italian
Yeah.
deli.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, you'll. I mean, it isn't the north of Boston, but I mean, it's a nice spot. It's a shock. It was a shock to me because we just moved to the studio from Pawtucket,
Oh, okay.
and I drove by it I don't know how many times, and somebody that was a guest on my show left early, and then they called me and said, "Hey, I'm down the street. I'm at the Italian Corner Deli. Why don't you stop in? I bought you a sandwich." So I went and sat down with him. He gave me half his sandwich, which I thought was a whole sandwich, and it wasn't.
Oh, so they're really big.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
You get
Wow.
the small or the regular one, or the regular and the large, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it was a huge, and it was excellent. And it had.
Good to know.
It's called the Soprano.
Oh, I love that.
It's
I
a
love
Soprano
that.
sandwich. It has capicola, imported capicola, which is hot capicola.
Yes, a little spicy.
It has spicy provolone.
Okay.
Real
Provolone,
sharp
yeah.
provolone. And it has red peppers in it too.
Oh, okay. Well, any Italian place in Rhode Island, sign me up.
Really?
Yes.
We
Yeah,
will stop
based on
there.
your Federal Hill, you guys have a lot of great restaurants, and there's one big shop, I think Venda it's
Oh
called.
yeah, Venda
I
Ravioli.
really enjoyed
yeah.
going in there.
They're on both sides of that Di Pasquale.
I did see that, the piazza that you
Yeah,
have.
they're on
yes.
both sides. Vendor is
Yeah.
right. I got to get them on this show. They haven't been on the show yet.
I was really impressed. I love those shops that sell all imported goods from Italy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
You got Joe's up at Colonial, and then on the other side of the street, you got Roma,
Roma, yes.
which I really like.
I had a cannolo from there.
Oh yeah,
I did.
I
Yeah.
love their what is it? Spinach. The spinach calzone over there.
Oh, okay.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
And very inexpensive.
I want to know
might
all the
add.
good spots.
Yeah.
You know, wherever I go, all the good Italian spots. So I'm going to make a list.
Now, do you like veal Parmesan?
I do like it, but I don't usually order it.
And I find that to be the case of most women for
Yes.
some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I had it growing up. You know,
Yeah.
again, it's one of those kind of old school things, but I don't tend to order it anymore.
No,
No.
I happen to like veal Parmesan
Yeah.
or veal sandwich of some
Yeah,
kind.
yeah. I did actually at Roma's, I did try a broccoli rabe and pork sandwich.
Oh wow.
And that was really, really good. I have to say, the pork was moist and soft and just fell apart, so it was cooked really well.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little spicy red pepper. It was really good.
Oliver is the name of the owner over there. Real nice guy.
Yeah, so yeah, you guys have some great spots down here. It's good to know where to come when I come down here.
Yeah,
so
well, you just call me. We'll
I'm
go.
learning, yeah.
We'll go. There's a lot of good restaurants in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And not only on the hill either. There's a lot of good restaurants, a lot of good Italian restaurants all over the state,
Yeah, that's great.
especially in Johnston.
I got to get to Johnston
Yeah.
next, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the Italian cookies. I love the Italian, assorted Italian cookies. I love
Like the
those.
colored, like the rainbow ones or the biscotti?
The ones that have the confectionery sugar on them there.
Oh, like the icing?
I don't know. They're little round cookies like that. They're all,
Okay. Oh, maybe amaretti?
See, you're killing me with all this Italian.
They use powdered sugar on a lot of different cookies. Even
Right.
biscotti, some of them have it. But we make a lot of biscotti with my mother.
Biscotti, what is that?
They're kind of long, very crispy.
No, this isn't what I'm thinking of. No,
Okay.
these are more round. These are mostly round cookies.
Okay.
And they have, in fact, some of them even have an amaretto taste to them.
Okay, where do you get them here? What
Oh,
bakery?
no, not a bakery. My aunt used to make them.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, my uncle, actually.
Yeah.
Aunt and uncle. And ironically, my uncle, Italian from Italy, his wife was French.
Oh,
And my
okay.
father, all Italian, his wife was French and Irish.
Okay.
Hence,
Wow.
I look like an Irishman.
Yeah.
I'm mostly Italian and some French and some Irish.
Yeah. But those cookies, I'm sure, evoke memories for you, good memories.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's why
Absolutely.
food is, for me, so important, more important than you think, because it does evoke nostalgia and memories. And a lot of my followers on my Instagram, I get a lot of messages thanking me for posting certain things because it
yeah.
evokes nostalgia for them, especially where they might not have it anymore and it's lost. And the people that made those things have passed on. When they see the things that I post, it just reminds them those good memories pop in their head and it puts a smile on their face. And to me, that's the greatest compliment I could get by
Yeah,
what I do
yeah.
and what I post. So
It's like you remind me a little bit, not so much in looks, but in your talent, your cooking talent. My sister, who's passed on, but she was a phenomenal Italian cook.
oh,
She could make anything taste good.
oh, that's great. I love it.
And my brother too, who also passed on, but he was
Yeah.
he was a chef. He was a bona fide chef.
Oh, wow.
And he could make dirt taste good.
That is a talent.
yeah. So how often do you post on your Instagram
I
account?
post a lot. I definitely post a lot. I try to keep things frequent and
Yep.
keep updated weekly, every other day. Because I have stuff not just going on weekends when I go to, when I travel or whatever, but even just, at home with my mom, cooking just during the week, every day,
Yeah.
Southern Italian meals, Yesterday I posted my great aunt, my grandfather's sister. She still has a lot of stuff growing in her garden, so I picked a lot of stuff for her yesterday. So I posted all the stuff and, eggplant and peppers and tomatoes and a big gaguzza, this big, she gave me to take home.
Now
and
wait a minute, what is that?
it's a kind of, zucchini.
You're
And
killing me. You're killing me with all this Italian stuff.
Yeah, the gaguzza. Yeah, and it was this big. So just to see a picture of something coming out of your garden that's
Right,
that big
right.
is
Almost
just,
like my eggplant.
yes, but it's it's shocking, but it's awesome, and everyone loves it. And of course, so my mother and I made a pasta with the gaguzza last night. The zucchini, we chopped it up and made a pasta with it. So
Wow.
yeah, every day is Italian day.
Now, when you make pizza, do you make your own dough?
Yeah, my mother actually makes her own sourdough starter, which is like a rising agent. Instead of using yeast, she makes her own sourdough starter, which is a little healthier.
Right.
And it's alive, and you feed it, and it grows. She takes some, to use and makes her own dough from scratch, and she feeds it so it never...
Feeds it.
You feed it and it
Sounds
grows,
like a
so you
Venus
never run
flytrap
out.
over here.
Yeah.
Feeds it.
Yeah, you feed it and it grows, and you never run out. And she uses that to make the dough from
What do you mean
scratch.
you never run out? Never run out of what?
Because when you feed it, it grows. It's a starter. It's like a leavening agent, a yeast
Oh.
for
Wow.
for the dough to rise, the
How
pizza
cool
dough.
is
So
that?
we never run out.
All right.
Yep. So we make our own dough from scratch, and we use all fresh tomatoes and basil from our garden and fresh garlic. Wow. Really good olive oil is important.
No kidding. Well, listen, we got to go, but
Okay.
I am so glad you came all the way down here from Boston. North of Boston.
Thank you for having me.
And don't leave, because we're going to go, like I told you.
Get a good sub.
That's right.
Yes.
After the show.
Yep.
All right? So you hang out with Mom, and I'll be back to you in a little while.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
All right. We'll be right back on An Hour with Bob. Hi, folks. We're back on An Hour with Bob, and look who we have with us, an old friend. She hasn't been on this show for probably a decade or more, but now she's back. Mary Maguire, formerly of NBC 10, now with AAA of Massachusetts.
Northeast.
Northeast.
AAA Northeast.
Oh, now
we
you're
have
big
had a few
time.
name changes.
Oh, yeah, now you're big time, Northeast. I remember years and years ago, I had Bob Murray. Do you remember him?
Oh, sure. Bob was wonderful.
Yeah, he was a big shot at AAA at one point.
Yeah, so
right?
he was the Senior Vice President of Public and Government Affairs for many, many years. And he was succeeded by my boss, Lloyd Albert, who's doing a fantastic job. But Bob actually was someone who I used to interview all the time when I was at Channel 10. Because Bob never turned down an interview.
Right.
He was always willing to talk, and he was terrific at it. And I actually remember talking to him one 4th of July, I believe, about holiday travel numbers,
Right.
which is something that AAA
And gas
forecasts.
prices.
And gas prices. And we did it while he was flipping burgers on his grill at his home. So,
No way.
yeah, so he was always willing to do
You
an
went
interview.
to his house?
I did.
Wow.
I did. We used to interview him most of the time down in Warwick at the AAA facility
Right,
there.
right.
But yeah, I did do that one trip to his home, and I think it was on the 4th of July. So Bob was always ready to do an interview.
Wow. How long have you been with AAA now?
So it's 13 years, more
Cut
than
it
13
out.
years. Yeah, which is hard to
13
believe.
years. So it has been more than, I know it's been more than a decade
Yeah,
since you've
so
been
it
on my
has
show.
been, because the last time I was on your show, I think I was with
Frank
my friend,
Carpano.
Frank Carpano, who's still my good friend. And I actually was at Channel 10 for 13 years also.
Wow.
So I've now been at AAA Northeast the same amount of time that I was a reporter at Channel 10.
How cool is that?
Yeah,
Now-
time flies.
Are you enjoying your tenure with AAA?
I really am, yeah. We've been able to have a lot of fun experiences. I mean, it's been a real education for me as a journalist, working as a lobbyist, working in government relations. So, you know, I've been working at the Massachusetts State House now for 13 years.
Oh,
and
wow.
have gotten to know quite a few of the legislators. And we mainly work on traffic safety bills. So right now we're trying to pass a primary seatbelt bill, a rear-facing car seat bill, which
Wait a
keeps
minute,
kids safer in their car
There's no
seats.
mandatory seatbelt?
There is, but it's a secondary bill. It's a secondary
What do you
bill.
mean,
That
secondary?
means simply that you have to be pulled over for another moving
Oh, I
violation
get you.
before you can be
So
ticketed.
now
for,
the bill you're trying to pass is that if they spot you without a seatbelt on, they can pull you over for that.
Right, right. And the reason we're proponents of the primary seatbelt bill in Massachusetts is that it saves lives. We know from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration that we can save 14 lives every single year with primary enforcement and prevent 514 life-altering injuries, spinal cord injuries, traumatic brain injuries. So nothing moves the needle in
Right.
traffic safety in terms of laws like a primary seatbelt bill, because it simply compels more people to buckle up. And, you know, if the life that is saved is yours or your son's or your mother's
Right.
or your sister's, you know, it becomes very, very meaningful.
Now, that includes people in the back seat too, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And what's the penalty in Massachusetts for people not belted?
Yeah, $25 fine.
That's it?
Yeah.
I think in Rhode Island it's 75, isn't it?
Yeah, so different states have different fine levels.
Right.
And we actually just, our club, our AAA Northeast, my counterparts, my public affairs counterparts, colleagues in Connecticut just passed a backseat seatbelt bill in Connecticut because they have a primary law in Connecticut, but it had only applied to the front seat. Yeah, so, and we know that in the back seat you become a missile in the car. You go
Exactly.
flying through the car. So,
Exactly.
you know, so really important bill. So kudos to them for doing that.
And that also applies to kids in the back seat.
That's right.
And booster seats and child seats, right?
Yeah, so our rear-facing car seat bill that we've passed in a number of states recently, including Rhode Island, basically compels parents to keep their toddlers rear-facing for as long as possible, but at least until they reach the age of 2 or 30 pounds in Massachusetts.
Right.
So all the research from the American Academy of Pediatrics and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration tells us now that children are simply safer when they remain rear-facing longer, because in the event of a crash, a toddler, a 1-year-old, doesn't have the ability and the ligament strength really to sustain that tremendous force that results from a crash. And so you can run into a situation where there's a spinal cord injury, that type of thing.
Well,
so if the child's rear-facing, they're able to sustain the forces of a crash
Right.
much more effectively.
But I think it's not only that, Mary, I think it's the fact that the front seat, if the front seat falls back and it's a front-facing seat, the driver or the passenger in the front falls back onto if it's a front-facing seat.
Yeah, that's been another issue, and in fact, Senator Markey in Massachusetts has a bill that addresses that situation of that kind of a collision with the seat coming back. So, the bottom line is a lot of parents felt for many years that it was time to turn their children forward-facing when they turn 1. So now the recommendation is to keep them rear-facing until
Right.
age 2. It's
Till at
much
least 2.
safer. Yeah, until at least age 2.
But I've seen crashes where in fact, they interviewed a guy who, in a car crash, his seat broke and his seat fell back on top of his kid behind him.
Oh,
and
that's
killed
terrible.
his kid.
Oh, that's so tragic.
And his
Sorry
kid was
to hear
older
that.
than 1 or 2.
Yeah, and again, this is a problem as well, and it's a problem that that Senator Markey's been looking to address at the federal level, and other legislators as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I've been a member of AAA. It's either, I should look at my card because I know it's on my card, either 1977 or 79.
That's impressive, Bob.
And before that, I was a member of ALA, which was bought up by AAA.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So I think I've been a member since I had a license, which was in 1967, I believe. 66 or 67. I think it took your number on your, I don't know about Mass, but in Rhode Island, your license number tells you what year you got your license. 66.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so you've been a AAA member for almost all of that time, which is wonderful. Thank you so much for your membership. It's funny, so many people that I meet, if I tell them I work for AAA, they immediately take their card out and they say, I've been a member
Yeah.
since, 1982. But the first time I ever met Governor Baker, he immediately took his card out and
No
said, I've been a
kidding.
member since, and he showed it to me. And the first time I ever met Senator Elizabeth Warren, she took her card out and said, I've been a member for
Well,
many
wait a minute.
years.
Have either one of them been a member as long as me?
I can't remember. I can't remember what the dates were for them, but that was their immediate reaction when we met, is that they
Well, it's such
took
a
their
great
AAA
deal.
card.
I mean, the benefits you get from a AAA membership are far-reaching. People don't realize. You go to, and I know you know this, but if I go to Rentham Outlet, you get a discount on
Right.
everything at Rentham Outlet.
Right. Yeah, we've got that great Rentham Outlet discount. Hotels. I just booked a hotel
Yes.
room in New York City. I got a great AAA discount. In fact, one time I booked a hotel in New York and I got a $50 discount, which is practically enough to pay for the membership. So, sometimes one or two hotel or museum discounts can get you.
Well, that's the other thing.
you know.
Museums and even going to Universal Studio or
Right,
going
theme
to
parks.
Disney or going to
Canopy Lake Park.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so we have all of those theme park discounts. You mentioned the shopping discounts, museum discounts. For example, I was in California a few years ago and I went to tour the Queen Mary. They had a AAA discount.
Wow.
So, you really just don't know,
Not
so you
very
have to
Farm in
ask.
California I went to. They had a discount, and as did San Diego Zoo.
Oh, see, that's great. Yeah, and a lot of zoos have our discounts. So, there are just so many great ways, as you say, to utilize the membership. I mean, road service, obviously, and roadside assistance are the cornerstone of what we do. But, we have 34 branches in Mass, 9 branches in Rhode Island. So, in all of those branches, you'll find insurance, you'll find financial services, you'll find travel
Right.
assistance. The member service counselors can assist you with discount movie tickets, all of those kinds of things. So We really have all full-service branches. If you want to refinance your car, if you need college counseling for your young student,
Right.
for example. If you want identity theft protection, we offer that. If you're looking for foreign currency, we have foreign currency available in the branches.
Passport photos.
That's right, the passport photos, the international driver's licenses, and just the ability to work with a travel agent is really significant. We have so many great travel agents who are so well versed in the properties and the countries that they're sending members to. People who've stayed in the hotels, or they've been to that beach or that restaurant or that attraction, and they can really give you the value of their personal experience. So we really recommend working with one of our great travel agents.
Well, I've done quite a bit of traveling over the years, and I always go to AAA to exchange money, or to, not exchange money, but to get
Foreign currency.
foreign currency.
Yeah, so
exchange.
convenient. I've gotten foreign
Yes.
currency at Westwood, which is the branch that I work in Massachusetts, several times, and it's so convenient.
I went to a AAA in Florence, Alabama. I walked into
Wow.
the AAA with the camera, and I was doing a Bob's Big Adventure, and I walked through it, and Florence, Alabama is home to the deepest, gotta get this right, the deepest water locks, like a lock to, raise the water level.
Really?
They have the deepest in the United States.
Wow.
And I went there to see it. And I stopped at AAA to find out where it was, how to get to it. That was back before,
Before you
the
could
computer.
Google everything, yeah.
Yeah.
So did they help you?
Oh, absolutely. And I had so much fun with them. I went back after, we hung around. I hung around there, and
Oh, that's so
I just
great.
had so much fun with them. They actually would send me a Christmas card, and they sent me a birthday card every year.
No kidding.
For years after.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that.
Florence,
to tell our
Alabama.
friends at AAA South that. So, the other big advantage of transacting at AAA is that you can avail yourself of the registry services in Rhode Island and
Yes,
Massachusetts.
yes.
So that's big, as
Getting
we
your
know.
license renewal.
That's right. That's right. And a real ID if you need one, if
Yep.
you're going to be traveling domestically, that type of thing. So that, is really a big piece of what we do in our branches now, offering that service to
Well,
members.
that
but
new ID thing,
the real ID.
now don't you know, as a result of that though, on the downside, I brought out my passport, my license, and I got everything together to go down to AAA to get that new travel thing,
The real ID.
real
Yep.
ID, and the pandemic hit. I cannot find my passport.
Oh, no.
I have torn my house apart. I cannot find my passport.
So could it be in your car, or did you leave it at AAA?
God, I don't know where I left it. I cannot find it. It's driving me, and I am
That's
telling you,
so
I've been searching
frustrating.
for 3 or 4 weeks now, because I want to do a trip. I want to do a Mediterranean cruise around
nice.
Italy, and I've been trying to find the damn thing, and I cannot find it.
Do you already have your trip planned?
No.
Maybe you can just do a quick renewal before it expires. Is it
I
about
was
to
thinking
expire?
about that.
Yeah.
No, it's not about to. Oh, don't you know, the last time I renewed it, funny story, I bought the trip. I was going to Thailand. I was going to Thailand and Vietnam, because I had a guest on the show twice. He was a former chancellor or dean, or whatever you want to call him, at Roger Williams, where I graduated from. I had him on the show a couple of times. And now he's the dean of American University in
DC?
in Vietnam.
In Vietnam. Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
I booked a trip to Thailand, and with we're going to do a side trip to Vietnam, and I booked a trip, got off the phone, talk about doing things backwards. I booked a trip, got off the phone, and I said, I got to find, where's my passport? And I went looking for my passport. I found it that time. I looked at it, it was expired.
Oh, no.
And I was leaving 3 or 4 days later.
Had it expired during the trip?
No.
Before?
Before.
Wow. Okay.
I had booked the trip last minute, got a great deal on the trip, but it was only like I was leaving in like 3 days. Now I look at it, and the passport's no good.
And you went through customs, and no one noticed that
No,
your passport
no,
had
no,
expired?
no.
Oh, this is
No.
when you're getting ready to leave.
Before I left, about 3 or 4 days before I left, so I panicked. Next day I called. There's no embassy in Rhode Island where you can go to. Mass has one, Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, they all have one. Rhode Island does not. So I called the different ones. Oh, you can come in 3 weeks or 6 weeks. I said, no, I need them now. I need one now. The best I could do was in Stamford, Connecticut, which is, you might as well be in New York.
You might as well be in New York, yeah. That's quite a drive.
3-hour ride on a good day. And I ended up making an appointment for 9 a.m. when they open. So I leave about 5:30 in the morning, and I didn't make it.
Oh, no.
I leave 3.5 hours ahead of time.
Well, Connecticut traffic
Oh my
is
God!
notoriously bad.
Where is it? Almost into New Haven. New Haven, Connecticut. I get stuck in massive traffic jam.
Yeah.
I show up about 40 minutes past 9.
Oh, no.
I'm 40 minutes late. They do not want to hear it. So I guess I used a little charm or something because I ended up getting in front of the person.
Oh,
And,
thank goodness.
I told them, some story. I forget what I told them, but I conned my way in, and I got to talk to the guy, and he did all the paperwork.
Good.
And of course, it's very expensive when you do it last minute.
Right.
But I paid for it, and they said, "We'll send it to you." I said, "No, you can't send it to me. First of all, I don't trust the mail. Not that there's anything wrong with the mail, but at that time, I couldn't trust a day or two being late, so because I was leaving in 2 days. So I said, "I need it now." They said, "Well, we can't do it that fast." I said, "Please." So I finally convinced them they were going to do it that afternoon. So I left there, and I went to some restaurant, had something to eat, and I come back like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they had it for me.
Oh, that's great. They did it. I'm sure they try to expedite those kinds of transactions because this happens to people, I'm
What
sure,
a
more often
bonehead
than
I
we
was.
realize.
I couldn't believe I was so stupid not to look at my passport before I made the travel arrangements.
Well, I'm just glad they were able to help you, given the fact that you had driven 4 hours and another 4 hours home. So after 8 hours of driving, I'm awfully glad that you were able to get your passport.
But that is the passport that I can't find.
Interesting. So that this passport is jinxed, in other words.
Yes,
There's something
yes,
about
exactly,
this passport.
exactly.
So I guess that's a good lesson to make sure that when you are planning your trip that you check your passport.
Well, this time I did check, but I can't
Yeah.
find it.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
I don't know where it is.
You'll
But you're
have to
right.
pray to St. Anthony.
Pray to St. St. Anthony. Is it Anthony or Christopher? Which one is that?
I don't know. My mother always used to say, St.
St.
Anthony,
Anthony or
St.
St.
Anthony,
Christopher?
St. Anthony, please come
St.
around. Something is lost that can't be found. That's what my mom used to say.
Say it again?
St. Anthony, please come around. Something is lost that can't be found.
I got it. You're right. St. Anthony.
So
You're right.
try going home tonight and saying that
Well,
prayer.
that's my problem. I was praying to St. Christopher. That's why I
There you
messed
go.
up.
Now that you're praying to Anthony,
I'll go
now
to
that you're
Anthony.
praying to the right saint, you're
I'll
going to find
is it
that
Anthony
passport.
or Anthony?
Well, I guess it depends whether you live in Rhode Island or, what your accent is. But
Or the north of Boston.
That's right,
Or the
yeah.
north end of Boston.
yeah, that's right, exactly. Yeah, I say Anthony. But anyway, try that, and I bet you're going to find your passport.
And the other thing I like that AAA has is they got the insurance thing where accidental death from car accidents, planes, trains, buses, all that stuff. And because I've been a member forever, I get the maximum amount of coverage.
Okay.
In other words, if the normal coverage is $50,000, I get $100,000 for the same price because I've been a member for forever.
Yeah, that's great. And of course, with the Premier membership, you get 200 miles of free towing and, once and
And
that
I just
type
bought
of
the
thing,
best,
so-
the other one. Is that the Premier membership?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
now you got 3 stages of membership.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
I just
that's
upgraded
great.
to the Premium.
Yeah, and it's well worth it because then your passport photos are free, for example, and you get other things like, what you're talking about. But yeah, the identity theft protection, the basic plan is free to members. And, as you say, there's just a lot of value to the membership. There really is.
It's crazy not to be a member, especially if you don't have a brand new car.
Yes, that's
Because,
true.
oh my God, if you have a breakdown, like I used to drive to Milton, Vermont from here, which is more than 100 miles, well more than 100 miles. But I said, God forbid if I get stuck somewhere on the way, at least I got 100 miles. They'll bring my car back for 100
Right.
miles for nothing.
Right, exactly, with that higher level of membership, that's
I
right.
will tell you that, and you may know this, I hope you do, and it bothered me. A guy came to buy a car from me one time, years ago, and he came alone, and he was from Connecticut, from New London, Connecticut. And I said, well, how are you going to get the car back? He said, watch. He goes outside. I didn't know what he was doing. He come back in, he goes, my ride's coming. So all of a sudden, a tow truck pulls up. And they hooked the car up on the tow truck. And I said, well, what's going on here? Is it a friend of yours? He goes, no, it's AAA. I go, you're abusing AAA. What he did was, he said that his car broke down. It wasn't his car. He put the plates on that car, or put one of the plates on that car. So he got a 100-mile free towing.
Oh,
Towed the
geez.
car back. The car was not broken down. The car was usable, but he didn't have another driver. So
I see.
he abused the system, and I was pissed off in plain English at him. I said, you shouldn't be doing that stuff. That's not right. That's going to affect my membership and every other person's membership.
Yeah, good for you. So he had to get 2 cars home, and that's how he did it. You know, we just use the service because I also have the highest level of membership, and my daughter got a flat tire in New York City, and she has an apartment down there, and they were going to charge her quite an exorbitant amount to replace the tire. And so we had the car towed home. You know, it was just under 200 miles. We had the car towed home, and you know, we were able to get, you know, the service done much more cheaply at home. So, you know, it really comes in handy. We have some members who have vintage cars or cars that they bring to car shows, or, you know, sometimes they need to have those cars, you know, towed a certain distance, that type of thing. So, you know, it's a great service for when you really need some help.
We didn't even talk about getting a mechanic to work on your car if you're out of town, because, you know, they'll normally rip you off if you're out of town, but they can't if you're a AAA member.
Yeah, well, we have our whole network of AAA approved auto repair shops, and so that really gives members and consumers, you know, a higher level of comfort to know that they're, you know, using or dealing with an AAR shop. So, you know, that's something that we're very proud of. But, you know, our road service techs are so dedicated and devoted. And, you know, we just had a situation up in the south end of Boston where some tires were being slashed, and one of our AAA tow truck drivers was incredibly helpful in assisting a number of members getting their cars back on the road again. And we actually, you know, they tweeted about it, and, you know, we're just so appreciative of what our roadside techs do. And by the way, we are hiring roadside techs and call service counselors right now. And so if anybody is interested,
they can call.
Great place to work. Yeah, absolutely. You know, you can call me, 401-865-9414. My cell phone number's on the website. You know, that's what I do in Massachusetts. You know, I assist our members with whatever they might need. But you can call also, you know, our headquarters in Providence and ask for our human resources
Which is
department.
right near me, by the way. Oh, anyway, we don't have much time left, but I do want to ask you about drowsy driving.
Sure. Yeah, so, you know, drowsy driving is, it's a phenomenon that kills people on the roadways when they fall asleep at the wheel.
It's like drunk driving, it's the same thing.
I think it's probably happened to all of us at some point in our lives that we've gotten tired behind the wheel, so it's something we can all relate to. And this is something that, especially at this time of year, is particularly dangerous on the road because we're about to have the time change as we head into November. It's getting darker earlier.
Oh, God.
We see a lot of drowsy driving crashes in the late afternoon when people are tired and coming home from work, actually, which I think surprises people. And then when it gets dark earlier, it becomes harder to see. Maybe it makes you a little bit sleepy behind the wheel. So, you know, one of the messages that we like to send at this time of year headed into Halloween is, you know, you got to be careful out there. Do not drive when you're tired. If you feel tired, it's so important to pull over and rest. The only substitute for lack of sleep is sleep. So
there you go.
So be careful out there.
Well, listen, we got to wrap it. We got to wrap it up.
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh my God!
It went so fast.
Yeah, I want to talk about the deer.
We'll talk about that in the next show.
Yeah.
The next time I
Hitting
come
the
on.
deer.
Watch out for the deer.
Watch out for the deer.
Because it's harder to see them. It's mating season,
Oh
and
my
a
God.
lot of
And
deer
you
strikes.
do not want to hit a deer.
You do not want to hit a deer.
My God, I've seen cars wipe out from hitting a deer.
Absolutely, can be very dangerous. So go slow and avoid areas where you know that the deer like to hang out.
Mary Maguire, AAA Northeast, right?
AAA Northeast, yeah, you got it exactly right. So nice to be on the show, Bob. Thank you so much for having me.
Nice to see you again. You look
Nice
marvelous.
to see you.
by the
You
way.
look exactly the same as you did 13 years ago.
Oh, cut it out, cut it out. How long ago was it?
It's got to be 13 years or more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
thank you, and thank you, folks, for spending an hour with Bob.